I, 23F, met my boyfriend, 24M, 2 years ago, and we've been dating for about 1 year now. Up until recently, our relationship was healthy, or at least I thought it was. He was sweet, caring, and everything seemed to be going smoothly. But recently, I started noticing little changes in his behavior that didn't quite sit right with me. He became oddly protective over his things, especially his phone. I remember one time when I was using his phone to look something up, and he immediately asked why I was on it. At first, I brushed it off, thinking maybe he was just having a bad day or was tired. But the more it happened, the more suspicious I got. It felt like he was hiding something, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. My best friend, 23F, of 4 years, had her birthday recently and invited me, my boyfriend, and 5 other friends to go to a carnival. She said she wanted to do something different and fun for her birthday. I was excited, and it seemed like the perfect way to spend the day with everyone. So, we all arrived there around 10 a.m. and started having a great time. We were riding the Ferris wheel, eating cotton candy, and just enjoying the vibe of the place. It was one of those rare, carefree days where everything felt perfect, and I didn't think anything could go wrong. After about 5 hours of running around the carnival, we decided it was time to leave and go to a restaurant to grab some food. But right before we left, my best friend said she needed to go to the bathroom. So, my other friends decided to either grab some snacks or take one last ride before we left. I was waiting with my boyfriend, and we were planning to get some cotton candy. A few minutes later, he told me that he was going to get some chips from another stall. I didn't think anything of it and told him I'd wait there for him. When I finally got the cotton candy, I noticed he still wasn't back. I figured he might have gotten distracted by the snack stall or was taking a little longer than usual. So, I decided to head over to the food stall he said he was going to, thinking I might find him there. But when I got there, he wasn't anywhere in sight. I looked around, confused, and began walking around the carnival to see if I could find him. As I was walking, I passed by 3 photo booths that had little screens showing the pictures of the people inside. I casually glanced at the screens, not really expecting to see anything in particular. But then, I saw 2 familiar faces. It took me a couple of seconds, but then it hit me. It was my boyfriend and my best friend. They were inside one of the photo booths, and from the looks of it, they were in the middle of a full-on makeout session. My heart dropped into my stomach. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My boyfriend, the guy I had been with for over a year, was making out with my best friend, the person I trusted more than anyone else. I froze. I couldn't move or speak. My mind was racing, and I felt like everything around me was spinning. It was like time stopped for a second as I just stood there, trying to process what I was seeing. Was I imagining this? Was this some kind of joke or prank? But no, it was real. It was happening right in front of me. I felt completely shocked and betrayed, like everything I had believed in up until that moment had just been shattered. My heart was racing, and I could barely breathe. I couldn't believe what I had just witnessed. The tears started falling silently down my face, and for a moment, I felt completely helpless. But then, something clicked. I wasn't going to let them get away with this. I wasn't going to let them destroy everything I thought I knew without holding them accountable. So, in a daze, I pulled out my phone and recorded what was happening. I didn't care that I was crying, didn't care that I felt like I was falling apart. I just knew I needed this evidence, proof of what they had done. Once I had the footage, I quickly left the area and made my way to the bathroom. I don't know why I chose the bathroom. It was just a place where I could hide, where I could collect myself. I stayed in there for what felt like hours, just crying. The pain felt unbearable, and I couldn't believe this was happening to me. I felt so stupid, so naive. How could I have not seen this coming? How could I not have noticed the signs? I felt humiliated, like I had been taken for a fool. But after some time, I took a deep breath and reminded myself that I couldn't let this break me. I had to be strong. I calmed myself down and wiped away the tears. I knew I couldn't stay in the bathroom forever, and I couldn't let them see how much they had hurt me. So, I pulled myself together, took a few minutes to get my composure, and then headed back to where most of the food stalls were. I wasn't sure what to expect when I returned, but I knew I had to act normal for now. 2 minutes later, my boyfriend walked up to me with a smile on his face, holding a bag of chips. He casually told me that there had been a long line at the stall. I looked at him, and I swear, in that moment, I felt like I was in some kind of twisted dream. How could he act so normal? He had just betrayed me in the worst possible way, and here he was, smiling, as if nothing had happened. I did my best to force a smile back, pretending everything was fine. I wanted to scream, to let him know that I knew what he had done, but I kept it together just barely. We went to the restaurant with our friends, and I couldn't shake the feeling that everything had changed. I couldn't enjoy my food or the company like I normally would. It felt like I was just going through the motions, pretending to be happy, pretending that nothing had happened. But inside, I was breaking. The person I trusted more than anyone, my best friend, and the person I thought I would spend my life with, had just destroyed me. And I had to sit there, acting like everything was okay. After about 3 hours, everyone left and went home. The moment they were gone, I felt a mix of relief and emptiness. I was finally alone, but it didn't feel good. It didn't feel like freedom. It felt like the beginning of something horrible that I didn't know how to handle. Update: it's been over a day now, and after reading so many supportive and insightful comments from you all, I made a decision. I sent the video to a bunch of people, family, friends, and even my ex-boyfriend and ex-best friend's families. I couldn't keep this bottled up anymore. I needed them to know the truth, and I needed them to see it from my perspective. I took the time to explain everything clearly. My boyfriend and I are done, and it's obvious why. I didn't need to go into all the details for them to understand that what happened was beyond a simple mistake or misunderstanding. His family, as well as her family, immediately apologized to me. Honestly, it was a bit of a mixed bag of emotions hearing their apologies. Grateful for the support, but also still so hurt by what they were involved in. Most of our friends, especially the ones I was close to, took my side. They were disgusted by the betrayal and had already blocked him and her from their social media, and a few even went as far as to block their numbers. It felt like I was starting to regain control, like the weight I had been carrying was slowly lifting. I had to cut off the people who hurt me, and I didn't feel bad about it. I know that they probably won't take responsibility for their actions, but at least I didn't have to deal with them anymore. As for me, I made sure to block both of them on all social media platforms, their numbers, and emails. I didn't want them to have any way to contact me. I'm done with them, and I made that very clear. I don't need their apologies anymore. I don't need anything from them. The hardest part is over. It's a strange feeling knowing that you put everything you can into a relationship, only for it to fall apart because someone else couldn't respect the boundaries you had. The icing on the cake for me is the fact that he's been living in my apartment. His family isn't on good terms with him, and he's been staying with me for months now. It makes everything worse, honestly. He's been living in a place where he's supposed to feel welcome, and now he's been caught in the most humiliating way possible. I can't believe I let him stay in my home for so long, all the while thinking that I was building something solid with him. While I was sending out the video to everyone, he was supposedly at his friend's house. We both knew where he was. He was at my ex-best friend's house, probably trying to patch things up, or maybe just wallowing in guilt. I'm not sure, and frankly, I don't care anymore. After he saw my message and found out that I had broken up with him, he came back to the apartment. He walked in, expecting to salvage whatever he thought was left of our relationship, only to find his things sitting outside on the curb. That felt like a small victory for me. He had been so confident, thinking that I wouldn't stand up for myself, thinking that he could just carry on with his lies. But he was wrong. I never thought I'd get to this point. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that this all went down the way it did, but now I'm taking control. I'm not going to be passive in my own life anymore. He can't get away with hurting me, and neither can she. I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm ready to move on and rebuild. I've learned a lot in the last couple of days, and while the pain is still there, I'm slowly starting to feel more empowered. Thank you, everyone, for your advice and support. It means a lot to me, and I truly appreciate all the suggestions and words of encouragement. I'll keep you updated as things continue to unfold.